You open the fridge, there's nothing there. So what's it going to be? Greasy pizza? Sad drive-thru burgers? Dish by Blue Apron is for nights like that. These are the pre-made meals of your dreams. At least 20 grams of protein, no artificial flavors or colors, no chopping, no cleanup, no guilt. Keep the flavor. Ditch the subscription. Get 20% off your first 2 orders with code APRON20. Terms and conditions apply. Visit blueapron.com/terms for more.
All right, it's post-match show. Defeat for Ten Hag after a winning run. How are you doing, Tom?
Yeah, I'm pretty good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, are you in mourning? You're wearing a black armband, given the events of today?
I haven't got one on, but I'm no royalist, but I am weirded out by the whole situation. It's been very, very strange because I think at like 12 o'clock today, we kind of knew it was kind of coming to a abrupt end. And then, it's the whole coverage around United was really weird as well. Like we didn't have any pundits before the game. We didn't have any pundits at half time. I mean, I guess the last thing we want to hear is Paul Scholes giving his hot take on the Queen's death. So it's probably a good idea to not do that. But
mind you, I would have liked Roy Keane's hot take on the Queen's death. I mean, that would have been worth listening to.
Would have been very interesting.
I mean, I don't mean to be too glib, but 96-year-old dies. It does kind of happen, doesn't it? And it'd be interesting what happens with football at the weekend because there's a lot of talk, obviously, about fixtures being cancelled. Tonight's game wasn't. I mean, I guess confirmation came through only a couple hours before kick-off, so it would have been pretty tough on the people who are going to do that. The weekend games, I guess, are going to be cancelled, although there doesn't actually appear to be precedent for that. So we'll see what happens with that.
Yeah, I think from what I was reading today, because like I said, from about 12 o'clock, that we kind of knew something big was happening. I read the article from 2017 by Sam Knight in The Guardian about what would happen when the Queen dies. And I think in that article, it said that when Princess Diana died, actually all the games were cancelled that weekend. So
that's true.
And also, like the country's become a lot more mawkish and overly sentimental and has this weird obsession with respect. And I think that they will postpone the games out of respect. But I don't really understand what that truly means. Like I say, I'm no royalist and I don't want to be glib myself, but I don't really know. Is it respectful not to have football matches on a Saturday and Sunday?
I don't understand it. I mean, like, I can kind of understand, I guess, not clashing with the funeral, which will be in a week and a half's time or something.
Yeah.
That I can kind of get. But are pubs closed? Are restaurants closed? Are other businesses shutting down? Are the films not showing in the cinemas? Are they going to turn the TV off? I mean, like, why football in particular needs to stop out of respect? And what respect is it showing, as to your point, really?
Yeah.
I mean, I'd like, again, like, not being a total dick here, only a little bit of a dick, but really, what is it that is the mark of respect by not playing a game?
I don't know. And you'd think, actually, the outpouring of respect that would happen at football, like I say, as we have kind of become obsessed with respect in football these days, with especially when it comes to November time with the poppy and how over the top some teams go with that, like especially Leicester and a few Premier League teams, especially those in London. You think that they'd actually go all out this weekend as a sign of respect rather than postponing all the games. I don't really understand that, and also to be a bit more pragmatic about it, it's also going to cause a nightmare hold up. And I think from what I think that the funeral is going to be held usually 9 to 10 days, and 10 days I think is going to be
on the weekend.
Could be on that Sunday where United are supposed to play Leeds, so we could maybe end up getting 2 games postponed.
There's no room for it. I mean, look, it's like every week until the World Cup, basically.
We'll be playing in the World Cup. well, that won't be happening, but...
Yeah, might have to play 2 games on the same day. I mean, I guess some of the players were not playing as a mark of respect tonight, given how terrible United's performance was for much of this game. Ronaldo certainly was. He didn't want to celebrate, so he didn't stick the ball in the net with the 37 chances he got tonight. Anyway, I guess the big talking point, really, I mean, like, United weren't very good, and I suppose that's not a surprise given there were changes and so on and so on. But the big talking point is the penalty, which is... I know it's so boring, isn't it? But God almighty, that was just like one of the worst decisions I've ever seen. Yeah. And then backed up by the video ref.
Yeah. What can you say, really? It's not even one you can really... It's not even one to really debate because it was so obviously not a penalty. My only kind of thing in my head was, what is the rule? Like, how can that be given? Because I just don't understand it because it's so
natural
obvious.
Silhouette. So, I mean, I short of amputating his arms, I don't know how more natural you can be when trying to make a block.
Yeah.
Right? He's trying to tuck his arms away. It's come off his knee. Like, at short range, like every single factor says no penalty on their own, all combined is double. They even gave out guidance in La Liga, which loves a penalty, which said if it comes off another part of the body, it's not handball. I can't. I mean, I was looking for the usual suspects on Twitter to try and find the nonsense explanation for why this is a handball. I'm sure some Liverpool fans have like created a graph or something.
Yeah.
To explain it. But just so bad. I mean, look, it's not the big picture. Obviously, the big picture is United just weren't very good, didn't create enough chances, couldn't move the ball once Eriksen went off. Had this weird experiment with Fred playing at number 10, which, let's just put that down to Ten Hag smoking something beforehand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the penalty, like the only other thing he can do is not dive into the block. That's the only way that you can stop that. I actually played in a game where I got sent off for a handball on the line, and the referee told me I shouldn't have dived to make the block, and which I thought was completely preposterous. Which obviously at my level, the refs aren't very good. But that's the only thing that crossed into my mind is like the only thing that he can do there to stop it being a handball is not fly into the challenge, because it was like you say, it's literally hit his leg onto his arm.
But are you saying you can't dive into a challenge anymore?
Well, you can. It just makes no sense.
It makes no sense, does it?
No,
I mean, there's another one that Martinez cleared. I can't remember before or after, which was just after, I think. Just before? Either one. One of the two. In which he made a last-ditch sort of flying tackle to clear the ball away, which was a great clearance. There he was diving. Or if the ball had been aimed near his arms.
Yeah. I thought Martinez was class when he came on as well. Like the way he took the ball out of defence again, as he always does. There was one in particular where he drove through the centre midfield and played an outside of the ball pass in behind the defender to Fred. Like, he's so good, and it's a shame for him as well on a personal level that he was to give that handball away. But I'm sure it won't matter to him because he doesn't seem like the type, and also it was literally nothing he could have done about it. It was a great block. Actually, it was a great block.
Yeah, exactly what you need from the defender in that situation, and you would hope that I'm sure it won't affect him and affect how he performs in future. But what else do you get? You get if you don't get that kind of attempted block, you get Van Dijk versus United when Sancho made him look silly, you know?
Yeah.
Standing still, putting your arms behind your back. Shocking, I tell you. I mean, look, given the quality of the group, I mean, which is okay, but not great, United really ought to qualify either way. I mean, even if... I mean, they should be able to qualify with 9 points, I imagine, but it's not a great start to the Europa League campaign, which should be a tournament United are looking at winning, and sort of just breaks up the momentum we've built.
Just one thing on that penalty, I've got a question for you. Were you surprised that it wasn't overturned, because I wasn't surprised, because one, that VAR is so weird and I don't really understand the rules anymore, and also in Europe the rules seem to be different as well. So like I wasn't even that surprised that it didn't get overturned, despite how ridiculous it was to give a penalty.
Yeah, I suppose in a sense. I mean, as soon as it happened, I saw it and thought, okay, well, this has got to be chalked off. Mm-hmm. Clearly, it's so obvious. You couldn't possibly, just like with all the guidance that had been going around, which I'm sure had mentioned coming off other parts of the body and arms in natural silhouette. I mean, there was even those like silhouettes of a human to show you what a natural silhouette looks like. Yeah. So in a sense, I was surprised, but of course, the bar has been set very high for overturning it. But what is it that can be overturned if this is not overturned?
I don't know. It's just ridiculous. Like Mikel Antonio came out to loads of people have come out and said just scrap VAR. I would. I think it's just completely preposterous. I know.
Well, you still get the errors.
Well, the thing is, because the error obviously happened today, but it didn't get overturned anyway. And then you're getting as many mistakes as you were before VAR, and then you've also got the fact that stops momentum in the game. Like it takes a lot of the fun out of the game. Obviously,
we saw it at the weekend.
We'd have probably lost that game actually without VAR, but then it kind of evens itself out throughout the season or whatever. But I just find it a nightmare. And then when you also celebrate a goal, you in the back of your head, you're thinking, oh, was that offside, or was there a foul in the lead up? Blah 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 blah. I think it's way too far gone to actually for it to go, but it's just so annoying.
The authorities are trying to double down on it by bringing in Arsene Wenger's sort of automatic offside machine, or semi-automatic. I like to take semi-automatic to the VAR sometimes, I think. But so the Premier League match officials board, whose name PGMOL, came out with some stats a while back saying that 84% of decisions were made correctly prior to VAR, and now it's 92%, or something like that, to show that there'd been an uplift in the number of correct decisions based on their analysis because of VAR. And I guess the question is, we should get away from the kind of media-driven controversy, because it's not going to change. If you scrap VAR now, the analysis after the game will be about the 15 or 16% of decisions that are made incorrectly by the human referee without 100%. A video. So it's not going to make any difference. There's still going to be controversy and debate and outrage fueled and questions asked of the managers and all of that. So is the 8 to 10% of increased correct decisions worth the trade-off, which is, can I celebrate this as a goal? Are you going to kill the fun? Mm-hmm. Is it in the spirit of the game? Are you going to make the right decision anyway? And are we going to spend 15 minutes of our podcast talking about bloody VAR?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I hate talking about it as well. But just sometimes when you see it on a night like tonight, where it's just so blatantly not a penalty, and it costs us, and it puts us in a bit of an awkward position for this group. Like you say, it kills momentum. It's hard not to just bemoan it and talk about it. I'm not going to sit and create a graph and look at where every single referee in Europe is born, like that weird bloke on Arsenal Twitter. But yeah, I will have a little bit of a rant about it today, because it is just annoying me, obviously.
Italian, I think the referees were.
Oh, well.
I mean, Given the Italians and the Spanish have had shared history since Roman times, I think there's some obvious bias there.
Yeah, that is very interesting, actually, isn't it? And the language is very similar as well. So, with the hidden messages being communicated, I don't know.
Almost certainly. Yeah, I'm going to draw a graph.
Yeah, I'm going to spend the rest of my night, 1, grieving over the Queen, and then 2, spending my night trying to,
draw graphs on Twitter. Great. Maybe after that you can lose your virginity as well. So.
I don't think that's going to happen.
Dear me. Anyway, I guess we can talk about some of the players. I mean, it was who came in? Victor Lindelof and Harry Maguire, the dynamic duo, came in at the back. Neither particularly good.
How could Harry Maguire let
bad.
this happen on the Queen's death day? True patriot.
He's the only Englishman on the pitch as well. So
that is disgusting.
Yeah, it is. I mean, Maguire should hang his head in shame, as well as just hanging his head. Maybe that's it. Maybe he was mourning the whole game.
Yeah.
I mean, anyway, he wasn't particularly horrendous.
No, he wasn't.
Casemiro I don't know. He feels like he's a little bit off the pace still, doesn't he?
Oh, yeah, he does.
Give the ball away a few times.
I felt that in the first couple of games that he's came on, he's looked a bit off it, and which is like, I guess you can understand it a little bit, playing new to the Premier League, as they always say. It's different coming into the Premier League and coming off the bench. It's a little bit different, but I really wanted to see him impose himself on the game and show his real quality today. Someone said to me on Twitter this evening that I'm sure it's very different just passing the ball to Modric and Kroos every time you get it, and I think that's completely fair as well. But I think I'm not wanting to get too concerned about that right now because it's very early days, but there is a part of me that is a little bit worried. It's hard not to be worried about our transfer policy, really. But yeah, he's just, yeah, like you say, he just looks a little bit off at the moment and not his classy self.
Yeah, I mean, that integration into the team wasn't really the thing that worried me most. It was more like 2 years down the line.
Mm-hmm.
You know, would 70 million look like something of a millstone around a 32-year-old's neck?
Yeah.
Where you, especially in central midfield, where you need to be kind of dynamic, and we've seen this happen with Matic and so on. Anyway, that was my concern, not the integration. But he has definitely taken a little bit of time, and anyway, not that surprising, really. And I guess the other thing that was kind of, Ronaldo came back into the team. I guess I can't help myself but feel fairly sarcastic about his performances, but this was pretty dreadful.
Oh my God, yeah. Ronaldo obviously was a problem last season in a few different ways, but this season I feel like he's just become old overnight. Like he still showed his class and quality a lot of times last year, but
sure.
But now, like, and maybe I don't want to get ahead of myself because he's only his second start and he's come on I think 3 times, but he just looks so off it, like physically, and he's trying, like I said on Twitter again, like he doesn't know his limitations. He's still playing like he thinks he's 30. He's trying to beat players with his pace. He's trying little flicks or like a drop of a shoulder, but people are too strong and too quick for him at the moment. And even his great header, which was great, was preceded by a moment of laziness where he could have easily got back on side and headed that goal in, and it would have made it 1-0. And his game from there might have been different. His next few games might be different, but he just, was standing about. Like, he does a lot. Like, he does that too much, obviously.
I mean, I think he needs to adapt to his physical age, his age, and his physical age, by just staying within the width of the goalposts and trying to. I mean, he's got to stay onside, but trying to take every advantage he can. But he's clearly not got any of the pace that he once had. Can't beat a player, as you said. So what's the point in trying? And good header for the offside, but it doesn't count if you're offside. Mm-hmm. Like if you bowl a no ball in cricket, it's never going to be out. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So just not a great performance. Obviously, he's going to be rusty because he's been on strike for weeks over the summer and opted himself out of the team. Mm-hmm. Anyway, whenever football does come back, whether it's the weekend or after that, I'm not sure if he'll be in the team. Although I suppose United's next game might be the next Europa League game a week from today.
Yeah, because that's not going to be called off.
If there's no weekend football.
Yeah.
No, and United are away from home as well. So it was interesting that as part of the morning, the Europa League anthem was not played, so Ronaldo did not have to stand there and listen to it and sing along. with a tear in his eye, given it was his debut in the competition.
Yeah, proud moment for him. Proud moment indeed.
Yeah, I'm sure he's feeling that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway, United had 15 shots, 3 of which were on target, which kind of gives you the story of the game, really, at least part of it. And the bigger part of the game, I guess, is after Eriksen went off, United just were unable to keep the ball.
Mm-hmm.
He's best passer in the side.
And that's my fear for our system in general, really. I think we're playing very, like, when we've got the first team out and we're playing with the intensity that we didn't play with tonight, we do look a very good side. But my fear, one of my big fears, is what happens when Eriksen is not there, because there's no like-for-like replacement in the squads. Like, there's no... I don't think particularly... Well, I was sceptical about Eriksen's controlling ability in pre-season, but from what he's produced so far, he's done really, really well, and obviously playing a little bit higher up as well. But who comes in to do that same job when he is injured or suspended or not fit or whatever, like, or he loses a little bit of form? The person who replaces him is nowhere near going to be the same level, because we've seen how impactful he has been already, and I didn't think this would be the case. Like, just his progressive passing and his vision, his ability to play passes so fast. Like, no one else has that ability with the cleanliness that Eriksen does have. Like, Bruno, I think, has a lot of those qualities, but he doesn't have the cleanliness and the intelligence, I don't think, especially in that deeper role. There's no one else who does it, so that's going to be a big miss. And I think it was kind of a small encapsulation of what may happen in later in the season, just what we saw today in the second half.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's exactly right, because the options are Scott McTominay, Casemiro, and Fred, and none of them are controllers. Like, Casemiro's neat enough with his passing, but he's not very progressive with it. Fred is all over the place, and we know Scott McTominay, his strength is his energy and his running, and not his passing. So United are going to have real problems. And Eriksen, it's pretty much the first time in his career that he's played this deep. I mean, times at Brentford last season, but actually a lot of the time in the front three off the left-hand side. And so it's an experiment, because United didn't get De Jong or another controlling midfielder. And there's going to be a lot of reliance. I mean, he's played a lot of minutes. There was some surprise he was in the team. Yeah. But we kind of see why he's in the team, because without that passing, there's a big gaping hole between the back four and the front four. And United just can't progress the ball. So, as we saw much of last season.
And that's what you think with the signing of Casemiro. I think we needed a destroyer like him, but I didn't ever think that was the more preferential of the two that we needed in midfield. And obviously we did sign Eriksen, but I don't think we signed him to be a controller, even though he is going to be. We definitely didn't, because we were desperate for De Jong for so long. Yeah. But we have kind of two, I wouldn't say they're destroyers, like McTominay and Fred. They're better as destroyers, certainly, than they are as controllers. It's just a little bit frustrating that we haven't signed someone to be the controller, the better controller, you'd think, ahead of Eriksen. But Eriksen has done very well so far. But yeah, and that will come back to bite us, because we can't play the same system that Ten Hag wants and that Ten Hag will get the best of without that. Like, it's going to really fall apart without him in the side.
I mean, I think that's absolutely. That it's going to be a big problem. It was the weakness, and the two decisions to spend the money on Casemiro and Antony, 170 million euros worth of spending. They may well be fine players, but that was at the expense of not getting that controlling midfielder, not getting a central forward, although it looks like Ronaldo, Anthony Martial and Marcus Rashford will share that duty this season, and not getting a right back, so and maybe not getting a goalkeeper too. We'll see how much that costs United. So that's the trade-off. I mean, it feels like a big trade-off, And certainly Ten Hag has shown his flexibility, I think, in terms of his tactical approach. He's not like wedded to his philosophy so much that he couldn't take on a slightly more defensive mindset against Liverpool and then control and break against Arsenal. And United will just have to be flexible because of those weaknesses. And every single manager since Ferguson has had to make those trade-offs.
Yeah,
always. It's just an interesting time with the biggest summer spend ever. Although, of course, most of that came in the last week of the transfer window. United has still got holes, but that's where we got to.
It's interesting that we didn't sign Arta. I think I mentioned him on the pod when we were talking about Rabiot. That I was wondering why we didn't go for Arta.
You did, yeah.
And obviously, Liverpool ended up getting him on the last day. Not that Liverpool are in the greatest position at the moment, and they've made a signing in Núñez, who may or may not be the man. But when a player like that does go to Liverpool, you think, why couldn't we get him? Because I know he's not been fit that often, but he would have been a great backup, I think, for Eriksen to be that controller in midfield. So I was a little bit disappointed when we didn't. Well, especially when he goes to Liverpool, but hopefully it'll turn out to be a terrible signing for them.
Well, I think he's going to be back up to Thiago anyway, and that seems to be the plan. And Thiago's not fit enough anyway. I mean, Arthur I always saw as very good on the ball, not very good off the ball. And of course, then he's had his injury problems and then all the financial shenanigans. But I suppose that's not his fault that Juve and Barcelona came up with some ridiculous numbers for reasons. Yeah. Anyway, like it's going to cost us tonight. United have been beaten as a result, and now there are 5 games to make sure get enough points against Sheriff, Ammonia Nicosia, and the away game in San Sebastian. Yeah. Which I already previewed on the last pod because I totally forgot which way around the fixtures were. And so it went on a long soliloquy about how nice San Sebastian is, because it's a beautiful city. So some of you will have heard that. Some of you will have got the edited version, which I cut all of that out.
Yeah, I was supposed to go there during COVID actually, because the Euro game was supposed to the Euros was supposed to be held in Bilbao. I think they were held in Bilbao, or were they changed? I know. Yeah, I was supposed to say in San Sebastian for that, but c'est la vie.
Yes, I don't think they happened in Bilbao.
Yeah, where did it get moved?
Another nice city.
Moved to Dublin?
Can't remember. Yeah. I can't even remember. It was something to do with Spanish COVID regulations or something like that, wasn't it? Yeah. I'm getting old. My memory is failing me.
Yes.
On all of this stuff, apparently. Nacho came on the 70th minute. It's nice. I mean, I kind of, in a sense, I'd like him to start because I think his ceiling's higher than Elanga's, but he came on for Elanga after 70 minutes and some nice moments, just the positivity and the ability to drive at players. Had one shot that went over, perhaps could have controlled it better.
Yeah. Dare I say that he is a cleaner dribbler than Anthony, in my opinion.
Boy, you may dare say it. Yeah.
I'm very sceptical about Anthony, but I won't go into it. But I love the way that with Garnacho, I feel like so many of his touches work out the way that he wants them to. And when I watch Anthony dribble, I don't think that they kind of go away from his body in a way that you think, oh, that was a bad touch. That was a bad touch. Whereas Garnacho, he's so fluid when he drives with the ball, and that's what excites me most about him. And yeah, he's such a great attitude. I agree that I think his ceiling is higher than Elanga, but I thought Elanga did okay today.
Beat his man a couple of times.
Yeah, and he's just so fast, isn't he? It's just, I think this maybe just slowing his brain down when he gets into those final third positions. There was one where he beat the right back on the outside and then pulled it back with his left foot, and it was just behind Fred. And yeah, that final ball isn't always there with Elanga, but I think to say he's 20, there's so much there with him, and I think sometimes people do get on his back a little bit too much for someone so young. But yeah, Garnacho is I think going to be on another level, and I hope that Anthony's presence now in the squad it doesn't mean that his playing time will be hampered a little bit more this season, which I think it might be, and also the fact that we lost today and we there'd be like a couple of games we really need to win now to get through the Europa League group. We still should be fine because the group isn't very good. But yeah, it might hamper his playing time a little bit. But I just like seeing him play because he's so exciting.
Yeah, I mean, totally agree. And I really hope he does get some time this season. And the Europa League is the one where he should get more time because you don't know how many games you're going to get in the Carling Cup, Milk Cup, Rumbelows Cup. What's it called these days? League Cup.
Carabao?
One of those. Carabao.
Yeah, that lovely drink.
Never had it.
No, neither I.
And no. As I had to have a filling in a tooth yesterday. Always a lovely experience. And they were like, "Do you drink energy drinks?" I was like, "No, I don't. Thanks." Stop getting on my back.
Really good for you.
Anyway, yeah, they are. Anyway, I really hope Garnacho gets some game time. Of course, it'd be classic United for him to get lots of game time, really break into the team and lose him on a free this summer because they still haven't got him pegged down to a new contract.
God.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be surprised about that. I think back to that the Pogba situation and how good he knew he was back then and how good he was back then. I think that Garnacho probably has a similar mentality. And I imagine the people around him also tell him how good he is. He's got that.
And that he should be getting game time. And he should be getting game time because he's way too good for the under-23s. So do him no good at all.
Yeah, exactly.
The standard's fine, or the under-21s. Sorry, they've I was going to say rebranded, but they've changed the rules slightly. It just makes the gap even bigger between that, and it's supposed to be the loan system that helps out, but he's not got a loan, so he'll be playing not very many games of under-21 football because there aren't very many games. And if he's not going to be playing enough in the Europa League, then he won't get many games, and this will be a year of being static, and he probably will get frustrated by that. He's really going to have to buy into Ten Hag telling him that he's got an opportunity. And of course, he did get an opportunity, so we could be reading too much into it that he only got 20 minutes today. But anyway, I do want him to get some game time, and I do want them to give him a new contract because they're going to lose him for nothing or a very small. Atleti got like 500,000 or something when we stole him off them. So that's about what United will get if he leaves this summer for nothing.
And you think that the likes of Real Madrid or Barcelona, someone like Barcelona who would I think be very interested in that type of player because he is Spanish. He was born in Spain. He grew up in Spain. I'm sure that
can play for Spain or Argentina.
I'm sure he'd be he'd be delighted if one of those two teams, like one of those two big giants, came in for him and offered him playing time, even if they weren't going to give it him, because obviously that will resonate with him massively. So I really think it's a big fear that we could end up losing him, which would be a nightmare, and especially if it turns out to be amazing, or we buy him back in like 5 years' time for 90 million and then let him go on a free again. I don't think that's happened before, though.
When would we have ever done that? All right, I guess that's it for this game. Palace at the weekend, I don't know if it's worth previewing it because there's other stuff going on at the Palace.
I'd be
which
nice. Yeah, and we also played.
Look at that.
We also played the Royals today, so it's kind of one for the Queen Royal.
Yeah, well, exactly. Real Sociedad translates to Royal Society.
There we go. Yeah, did him a favour. I'd be astounded if the game's on this weekend, to be fair, out of respect, obviously.
Yeah. So the next game after that, again, I'd be really surprised. I mean, the Premier League is a very political organisation, so they'll probably take their guidance from media coverage and government guidance. The government won't tell them either way, but media coverage may well do. So after that, and since we probably won't have a pod at the weekend, FC Sheriff. What do you know about FC Sheriff then? Who are their best players?
I do not know. They used to have a guy called Adama Traore who was very good for them last season who left. I think they got Vincent Till. Does he still play for them? Scored a screamer against Real Madrid last season when they beat them in the Champions League. Yeah. I've always wanted to go to Sheriff, which may sound absolutely ridiculous, but it's true. They play football in Transnistria. So the little state
within a state.
State within Moldova. Apparently, like the whole place is supposed to look like USSR in 1985, and they've just not moved with the times. They're they're not recognised by anyone outside of, I think, Russia. I think they are recognised by Russia, but they don't play. They're not playing their games in Transnistria because of the Ukraine war. So they're all in Chisinau in Moldova. But it sounds like a very fascinating place to visit. Very weird. I think there's extreme poverty in that part of the world as well, sadly. But then the football team's just owned by loads of gangsters from Transnistria. So I think most of the society and the money go in Transnistria just goes to this random, very good for the area football team.
There's I think I mentioned it on last week's pod, actually, the piece in The Athletic from about a year ago, coinciding with their fixtures against Real Madrid. They're going into his long read. It's well worth it.
It's really good, yeah. It's very interesting.
Going into their owners and situation in the country/enclave, and exactly how much of how gangster like they are, and the romantic notion of them being somewhat dispelled. So, I mean, I'm looking through their squad here. As much as I like to be
multicultural, isn't it?
It is very. We've got players from Ghana, Nigeria, Guinea, Ukraine, Brazil, France, Portugal, Bosnia, Croatia. You see,
two Moldovans, and they're both keepers in the whole squad.
I'm doing this just off the flags, by the way. Albania, that is Mozambique.
Trinidad and Tobago,
I think. Ivory Coast, Uruguay.
Wow.
See, when I was a kid, I was actually very good at doing flags. I was a bit obsessed with flags and capital cities, so I learned many of them. So I'm still pretty good at that.
It is very good in the football game. That and maths, it teaches you. Yeah, very good for both.
Yeah. So anyway, just to say, I really don't know any of these players, but I can tell you what country they're from. And you'd expect United to be much, much stronger, but you said it's being played in Chisinau, so I don't know how much of a United following will be going over there. I suspect a fair few of the lads will be giving it a go.
Yes, one to tick off.
We'll probably get a Talk of the Devils pod with Andy Mitten on a train somewhere. Which tends to happen, and hopefully United win, because we kind of need it now.
Yeah, we really do. I mean, if we don't win, surely we will beat them. I don't know how did they get on tonight.
So let's have a quick look. They won 3-0 against Ammonia Nicosia.
Well, that is Neil Lennon's Ammonia Nicosia, so you can't be too surprised about that. But yeah, well,
top coach Neil Lennon. Where'd you go after you failed in
Cyprus?
Cypriot football?
Malta?
Yeah.
They speak English in Malta, don't they? I think.
It's Malta. So.
No. Sorry. So maybe
it's Cyprus. You go to Malta.
From Cyprus. Yeah, I think maybe it's the...
Or to the Australia.
Yeah.
Sorry, Aussies. I'm not deliberately insulting you. It's just not great standard, the A-League. Or the Indian Premier League. Oh, that's the football version, not the cricket version.
That's a good shout, because that's where loads of random coaches go. You get I think Owen Coyle's still over there. There's quite a few. David James was managing over there for a bit, I think.
Wes Brown played back end of his career.
Yeah. Absolute classics. Yeah, you scroll through that league every now and again, and you're just like, how is he there still? Okay.
All right, folks. I guess that's it. Sorry to bring you a downer after a few weeks of being all positive. But I'm going to guess that the weekend game isn't on. If it is on, we'll do a pod after that. Otherwise, we'll be back next week after United 2, FC Sheriff 1. Touch wood. Oof, something like that. Bye now.